The science of textual criticism has confirmed the New Testament we hold in our hands today includes essentially the same words God spoke through men nearly 2,000 years ago during recording of the original autographs. By comparing the thousands of available New Testament copies, textual scholars have been able to determine when, where, and if copyist errors or scribal explanations enter the text. What they have discovered is astounding proof of the New Testament's accuracy. To appreciate the incredible textual precision of the New Testament, we must first recognize 3,276 partial and complete Greek manuscript copies currently exist. Combining this number with 19,284 additional copies from other languages such as Latin, Syriac, Coptic, Arabic, Armenian, Slavic, Gothic, Georgian, and Ethiopic gives us 22,560 complete and partial copies of New Testament autographs recounting Jesus' birth, life, death, burial, and resurrection. The New Testament is the most numerous and best attested ancient writing in the world by far. We also possess more than 32,000 quotations and 2,410 lectionaries, which are worship books from the first few centuries of the early church that collectively include and confirm accuracy of all but 11 New Testament verses. The quotations were authored by 1st to 3rd century church fathers such as Origen, Clement of Alexandria, and Clement of Rome, Peter's personal companion, who reportedly had the preaching of the apostles still echoing in his ears and their doctrine in front of his eyes. Other early writers include Ignatius, who is a contemporary of all apostles, and student Peter, Paul, and John, Polycarp, who is also John's pupil, as well as Irenaeus, Barnabas, Tatian, Hermes, Cyprian, Justin Martyr, Tertullian, Hippolytus, and Eusebius. So even if thousands of manuscripts did not exist, we could still correctly reconstruct nearly the entire New Testament from these relatively early sources alone. In stark contrast to the great abundance of early written New Testament copies, all other works of antiquity are known only through minimal copies composed many years after the events described. For example, classics such as Caesar's Gallic War survive with only 10 copies. The earliest is approximately 1,000 years older than the Caesar it describes. Suetonius's De Vita Caesareum has 8 copies. The earliest is 800 years older than the non-existent original. Tacitus' Annals has 20 copies. The earliest is 1,000 years older than the non-existent original. Livy's History of Rome has 20 copies. The earliest fragment is at least 400 years older than the non-existent original, and first full copy was produced 600 years later. Both Thucydides' History and Herodotus' History have only 8 existing manuscripts. The earliest copies are respectively 1,300 and 1,350 years older than the non-existent original. Demosthenes' writings exist through 200 copies. The earliest is 1,400 years older than the non-existent original. Plato's works survive with only 7 copies. The earliest is 1,300 years older than the non-existent original. Pliny Secundus' Natural History has only 7 copies. The earliest is 750 years older than the non-existent original. Pliny the Younger's History also has only 7 copies. The earliest is 750 years older than the non-existent original. Due to the typical scarcity of non-biblical documents, scholars consider 20 partial or complete copies of any ancient writing to be excellent attestation, but very few ancient writings have survived with that many copies. Of all ancient texts, Homer's Iliad is a distant second to the New Testament with only 643 fragmentary copies, the first of which is dated at least 400 years after the supposed events described. The massive number of existing ancient New Testament copies is especially impressive when we consider some of the strongest rulers in world history have tried unsuccessfully to eradicate it. While the New Testament has astonishing textual affirmation despite great persecution, other ancient books, even without comparable persecution, are still textually inferior in comparison. The overwhelming literary evidence has caused scholar John Warwick Montgomery to state, to be skeptical of the resultant text of the New Testament is to allow all of classical antiquity to slip into obscurity, for no documents of the ancient period are as well attested bibliographically as the New Testament. Since historical accuracy of these textually inferior writings are rarely questioned by scholars, we have no good reason to doubt trustworthiness of the textually superior New Testament record.